Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to create videos that I would have found helpful when I first got out hunting for treasure. Today what we're going to talk about is some of the hidden places and general places to look for the markings that indicate the metal content of your jewelry. Now, one of the first things you'll want to be doing when you're out and about at garage sales or thrift shops is developing that eye for quality, looking at something and going, that's better than average. And that prompts you to pick it up and see what's what. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to look for markings. If something is a good quality object, it is 9 times out of 10, maybe more, is actually going to be marked with what kind of metal it's made out of. So everything you see before you is either gold or silver, but the marks on these can be fairly difficult to find sometimes. Now, there could be a variety of reasons for that. For example, if we start with rings, you're probably familiar with rings, that generally what they will have. So we'll grab this one here. This is a little silver ring. We'll grab this one. So generally, you take your ring and you go, okay, what do we have in here? I don't see any markings in there. Looks like it's silver. Is there any mark? And then, oh boy, it looks like we do have one right there. Little 925, which you can just barely see. And that's because generally a ring will be marked inside the band there somewhere, where it's flat. So that's kind of a hard one to see, but it is more typical. However, just because that's typical doesn't mean that it's how you will always find it. For example, if you pick up a ring and go, boy, that looks pretty good. I like this ring. And let's see, does it have any marks inside? And the answer is no, it is totally unmarked inside. So then you can start to look other places. Sometimes you'll find it on the outside. I don't see it anywhere there. Sometimes you'll find it on the, oh, look, we have a mark. Now, this is the second thing you want to be doing when you're looking at jewelry for marks, is looking for any spot that looks a little odd. Because right now we can't really read whatever's going on with that mark, but we can tell that's a mark, and that gives us an indication that we need to inspect further. So let's see, can this camera zoom in enough for us to get a clear notion of what that mark is? And this is where you would employ your loop. You're going to want, if you're out and about, you're going to want one of these. They are quite cheap. You can get them for about $7, and they will allow you to actually figure out what it says there. Now, in this case, I don't know if the camera is going to show it well enough, but we have an STR in that little stamp, telling us that this is indeed a sterling ring, and actually quite a nice one, because a stamp like that indicates that somebody had real pride in what they were making. They were, a little more artistic, and they wanted a little more artistic, a little bit different mark on their jewelry. So that's 2 examples of sterling rings. Let's take a couple examples of gold rings. Now, we know to look for marks in something. So in this case, we're looking at this and going, boy, that looks nice. We got some good sparkle. These look like real opals. So then we have a look on the inside. And then what do we find on the inside of this one? Do we find anything on the inside of this one? We keep going. Oh, I see a stamp. Now, again, we have a clear stamp, which means that we're looking at something. We might not know what it is we're looking at. In this case, we're looking at a stamp that says 15C. Now, when I picked this ring up, I didn't know what 15C meant. But I did know that this felt heavy. It looked right for gold, and I saw no signs of it being anything other than a high-quality piece of jewelry. So I pulled out my phone and I checked, what is 15C? And it means 15 karat. Indicates that this is Victorian, maybe Georgian. No one's been able to actually date this for me properly. So it's an old, 1800s ring. And 15 karat was standard back then. So that's actually what this is. And that's why I got it for $20, because I knew enough to say, that's a stamp. It means something. This is a quality piece of jewelry. And it led me to being able to quickly say, hey, let's look this thing up and we'll know what we have. And we came home with one heck of a nice little treasure. Now, something that will happen with old jewelry in particular is you'll pick something up and you'll go, all right, this looks nice. It's a beautiful ring, but boy, is it worn. Somebody wore this a lot. We have some like divots and dings. It looks like it's probably been resized at one point. And if you look inside, there are no marks at all. And that might be that it had a 10 karat mark right where it was resized, or it might be that it was simply worn off. So just because something doesn't have markings doesn't mean you should dismiss it. If your sense of quality and the weight and the look of it and the construction of it is telling you this is pretty decent, and if you're looking real close with your loop and you're not seeing signs of plate coming up, that's probably something that you want to drop the $2 on or the $3 on and go home and do a little more inspection. Now, this particular ring is actually 10 karat white gold. And I have confirmed that with testing. And while this is a lab-grown ruby, keep in mind that they've been growing rubies since the 1800s. It is a real ruby. It's man-made, but it's a real ruby. So don't dismiss something just because it doesn't have any markings. You may not have been able to find the marking yet, or maybe the marking has been worn off. If we look at other objects I have here, if my phone decides to focus, some of these markings can be incredibly fine. For example, if we take this little bit of treasure here, my phone is not behaving today. This looks pretty nice. Looks like it's got hand engraving. When I picked this up, I thought it was probably silver. But then I looked inside, and you can see very fine marks in there that tell us that it is not, in fact, silver. I see it. 10 karat. So this is 10 karat gold. Now, also, you probably see that that stamp there is very finely stamped. And if the stamp wasn't very hard, you might end up in a situation where somebody's been, this is a little small for me, you might end up in a situation where that's actually worn down to the point that you can barely see it, sort of like our ring there. So that's, again, where you really want to be able to say, is this quality? Do I really need to look close at it? Do I want to drop the $4 or whatever as a gamble on it? And you need to be able to make that determination quickly when you're out. You've got some competition at garage sales or thrift shops. Now, sometimes the marks are just very, very small, and that's where you need to be able to just start to cultivate a notion of where to look for the marks. So, for example, with a piece like this, you might look on any kind of flat that you see. And if you can't find it on any kind of flat that you see, you might look at the pin. For example, if I grab this one right here, this is a little tie tack. And it looks good, looks like gold. And if we were to zoom in and look at the pin itself, you will see, hopefully if this phone will do it, there it is, 14 karat, right there, stamped on the pin. So in this case, you might say, all right, is it on our pin somewhere? And the answer to that one is no. It's not actually on the pin, but there was a little flat that the jeweler had that he could use. And that's right there. Now, this camera's probably not picking it up very good, but that says 14 karat right there. Tip my fingernail on this beautiful little latch. So sometimes the mark is just hidden in plain sight, I guess would be the best way to say. So in this case, the Mason eagle is actually 10 karat, and that's connected, you can see here, to a 14 karat pin. I don't know if this was added later or if it was all part of the same thing, but this is not an entirely 14 karat piece. It's 10 karat and 14. Sometimes the marks are just wherever they can be put. So if you see something that looks a little nicer than average, like these coral cufflinks, just look at any flat surface for markings, because they could be right there. See that? 14. It's kind of hard to see, but the nice thing is we have a pair. So then the question is one of the pair more clearly marked? And yeah, this one is. So then you know we've got gold. And that's where pairs can actually be very handy, especially when you're dealing with things like earrings. You know, earrings that have been used quite a bit. It might be hard to see where the markings are. On hoops like this, you can see here we've got a nice flat surface right there for them to put a stamp on. Is there a stamp on that side? Nope. But it's right there. And if this is worn or dirty, you may check your other one, if you have the pair, to confirm that these are, I think these are 10 karat or 14, I forget. And I can't quite read it there because they're kind of dirty. Again, with earrings, and I've done another video on this, identifying tiny gold, but on earrings, you sort of have two things to look at. First off, you can check your little, the backer there. See, in this case, it says 14. That doesn't necessarily mean that the earring itself is 14, but it's a good sign that maybe you want to buy the backer. Those can get put on, but then it tells you, okay, let's look closer, and you can see we've got 14 on the stud there. So those can be just insanely tiny. And I've got a whole video on those. I'll try to make a little pip there to link to tiny gold, which is almost its own thing. Now, the markings themselves are sometimes inside pieces. So for example, here, you know, I've got another video where I picked this one up. The reason that I grabbed this and got excited about it is because it's fairly light. There's things are hollow, and there's a lot of work involved in making that hollow, but there's no obvious markings on it. But we have this little safety catch here to open it up. And then when you open it up, you can see nothing. But if we flip her over, zoom in, 14 karat. So that's actually inside the piece, which will be the same typically that I find with these bracelets. If you open them up, there you go. You've got your gold mark right there. And these are important to open up because, and that's kind of hard to see, but it's 14 karat. And these are important to open up because they're frequently gold fill, and it will tell you if it's gold fill or if it's actually solid gold. In this case, it's 14 karat gold. On the subject of inside, here we have a nice strand of pearls. And if you open up the catch, these open up like that. And then they loop through and you can pull them out. But right there, you have your 14 karat mark. And of course, that's hidden inside the latch. So when you're looking at something, you're saying that's very nice, you're going to want to manipulate it to see if you can figure out where the marking actually is. Sometimes the markings are just tiny. And again, you want to look, okay, let's look at the stud. Do we see anything there? And then start looking at any flat surface. Where do we have any flats? Oh, right there. So this was an eBay auction, and the little mark there for the 10 karat, or 14, I think it's 14, was just so dang tiny that the seller didn't even realize that this kind of kind of funny looking pin was actually 14 karat gold. Sometimes, and it's not necessarily intentional, but the markings are just going to be in a really difficult to access spot. So I bought this. This was, I think, $3 at a thrift shop. And I thought, wow, that thing sure looks like silver. And I couldn't find the mark at the time. It took me a while to figure out where the mark was. Oftentimes you'll find a mark, you know, across here, or trying to make it obvious on the ring. In this case, I didn't find it either place, but I did find that they had marked it before they assembled it. And you look here, it's very hard to see, but do you see it right there now? Where it's dirty and scummy? There's a 950 mark right there. And this is again where you want to look for something that's out of the ordinary, because like it's flat on this side, but then you've got a little divot there. And it took me getting my fingernail in there and just trying to get some crud out to be able to even see that it was marked 950. So sometimes that's not really intentional. Obviously, they put that mark on there before they put the ring on. But yeah, that is 95% silver. So that was a real good buy, considering the heft and the weight to it. And then sometimes, I don't know why they can be so incredibly difficult to find. But this bracelet has driven me crazy for a long time because it's very nice. And it's got a good heft to it. It's got good weight. It's got stones that are set in it. You can see there. It sure looks like silver, and then the stones are set in very nicely. You can see there's a way to let light in. There's a little bit of tarnish. Everything about this screamed at me that it was silver. And normally, when you have like a silver bracelet like this, you'll say there's going to be a stamp there, or maybe on the inside, maybe on the inside. This was actually the bracelet that prompted me to make this video, because I was looking at it and I realized where the marking was. And it is in the most ridiculous possible place. And that is right there. Now you're probably asking, what do you mean right there? I mean, I just exposed it. Can you see it? This is where you want to look for something that, like, this ring should be round, it shouldn't be flattened. But it is flattened. And I actually had to haul out my kid's bug microscope to read the mark on this. And I'm going to put that into this video right here. So yeah, that's what that is. It is 925 silver, but boy, not only was that hard to see, but it was also hidden inside like that. So this was an example of where I had to come home with it, was because it was a couple dollars, and I was pretty sure it was silver, but I was also pretty sure it was unmarked silver. And in the end, it wasn't unmarked silver. It was actually marked silver. It's just they really, really hit it, and made for a very interesting little piece there that prompted me to want to make a video about finding these marks that are harder. Now, this is not comprehensive in any way, shape, or form. I can only really introduce you to the concept of marks that are hidden or difficult to find. And the reason for that is because jewelry never ends. I've been at it for a few years now, for 4 years, I think. And I swear, one of the things that keeps me highly entertained by jewelry is just, I never know what I'm going to find. And I love looking for these little markings. You never know where they're going to be. And then, of course, you don't even know if they're going to be there. Because keep in mind, sometimes markings have worn off. Or sometimes the markings were never there. If it was a custom piece of jewelry, it may actually be a piece of karat gold, but they just never put a marking on it because it didn't matter to the buyer. You'll find that with those fraternity pins will frequently be unmarked. So I hope that you can take this information and go out and use it to find your own treasure.
Like this, I've been Thomas.